Yes, people, welcome back to another video. John Sinclair TV back again tonight. It's going to be the match preview between Newcastle United and Leicester City at St James's Park tomorrow. And hi to Louise. How are you, mate?
I'm good, thank you. All very good. Kind of more nervous again. I was all sort of warrior queen when we first spoke, and now I feel a bit nervous again. But I have to get over that.
No, that's fine. You're doing well. You're doing great. And I've
Oh,
got a
not about
Leicester.
being here. I'm nervous about Monday.
I know what you mean. I know exactly because we've never been in that situation before, sort of thing. But hey, I mean, we just got to go out there, just do exactly what you've been doing, and then we win the game or even draw the game. And Chris, big up to you, man. What's going on?
I am here, yeah, talking about beating us. Look, I don't know what you got to be worried about. I mean, if you saw us play Liverpool the other night, it was like a training match for Liverpool. I don't think any of the players got a sweat on. I don't think you'll have an easier game all season, to be honest with you. And we were just saying before we came live, didn't we? Go back 2 seasons, and it was a total role reversal.
Yeah.
You then went on and beat us, so I live in hope that will happen, but only about that TV show, The 1% Club. It's about that.
Yeah.
You've had a fantastic season. Well done to you. I think it's beyond even your wildest dreams that you've done as well as you have. I think you'd have taken. I can't speak for you, obviously, but I think you would have taken the conference of the Europa this year. But look, you've done really, really well. You've upset a few apple carts on the way, which is always good to see. And well done, guys. You deserve it.
Thank
you
you.
very much.
But
thank you.
I do hope that if it goes our way tomorrow night, that we are respectful, and I'm sure we will be, because, like you say, we were there. Just last season, could have been us. So I'm hoping that there will be. I mean, obviously, it would be amazing, and the scenes will be emotional and unbelievable. But I'm pretty sure they'll be respectful as well to you guys. If that happens, it might not.
It's at your place, and if you get what you need and that, you go and celebrate. I don't think anybody would begrudge you that. I think if it goes that way, I think our fans will be doing their fair share of taking it on our players. So don't worry about that. We'll sort ourselves out. But now, go and enjoy it if you get it.
Thank you. I was thinking there might be some players, who are thinking they might not, following on from our last conversation, John, they might be thinking this could be their last time at St James's Park playing regular first team football. So there might be some real emotions, and how will that affect them? It could go one of two ways.
Absolutely. The thing is, right, I mean, look, it's unfortunate you've got to play Leicester. I mean, Chris's team, yeah, but it is what it is. And we got to do what you got to do. And, when we sit near the bottom of the table, teams to do us, and they didn't give us any favours. So it's our time. So, I mean, look, all we need is a point, and then we're there. Might be great for Chris, but for us, if we can get a win or even a draw, that gets us Champions League. But I expect us to win tomorrow, I'm afraid, Chris. I do apologise, but we'll see what happens. Let's go through some comments.
I predict you to win as well, so don't worry about it.
I hope that's the case. Listen, I'll go through some comments, guys. Please, if you like the video, please like, subscribe. Super chats are open as well, and if you'd like to become a member, it's just 99p. And got one here. Please remember to keep comments respectfully. No all caps or duplicates. No discussion or promote other channels unless given permission by me. Allow mods to mod while you enjoy the show. Thank you very much indeed. Got one from Jimmy. I think he's asleep now back in Australia. I'll be asleep when you're live, so I'll put a prediction now 3-0 to us. He also added elusive clean sheet for Pope. Wilson double 20 season Champions League secure. Last home game of the year at St James's. He's at the score of third. I'll read it, lads. And good night to you as well, Jimmy. And hi to the clone lad. Oh, look at the chat. Hi to Leslie. Thank you for the chat as well. Welcome to the chat. I meant to say, please hit the likes and share it to my socials. Thank you very much indeed. And you'd like to make a comment, it is free by subscribing. Evening to Rennie, a Leicester fan. Evening to Colton. Hi to you. Hi to Jules. I hope you're absolutely good. And got as well. Sorry about that. To support the channel, yeah, I mentioned that. Thank you as well. Thank you very much. I've got coffee in the room. Hi, coffee. And Colton said to you, Lou, don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous at all. We're just sure Maddison around his new home
That
at
is that.
Newcastle.
I must admit that I don't like that sort of comment. I think that is disrespectful, and that to me is Newcastle fans turning into Arsenal fans. You don't have to say that. We know he probably will be going at the end, but to me, I'm sorry, mate. That to me is just below the belt, and I would expect it from Man United and Arsenal fans, and I would expect a lot better from Newcastle fans, to be honest with you. I've got a lot of respect, a lot of time for Newcastle fans on the whole, but not for those sort of comments.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you for letting us know there, Chris. I mean, yeah, it gets some people as well, sort of thing, like, comments. I mean, there's a few of them I'm not going to mention, but, trying to rattle me.
Every club has them, but I think, when you've got a fan from that club in the chat, just show some respect.
Exactly. Hi to Coffee Game. Chris merchandise collections always fascinating. He likes your collections, by the way. At least it's been a possible one. And got him from Brian. He's on time tonight. Wow, big up to you, mate. I hope you're okay. It's very early. Hi to Alan again. I hope you're okay, mate. Sharky, hi to Sharky. Hi to LCSE Believer. They won't be respectful one bit. After the game, we can keep mad at St. James's. He's at Leicester at the minute, like he's a Leicester player. Good afternoon to Gareth. And Brent Natural's back. Yeah, I believe so. And Chris is really a good bloke. That's Leslie. Did John and Louis see some of the comments made from Liverpool fans about us after they drew their game yesterday? Did you see that, Lou?
I saw Jurgen's actually, which was, he said the teams above us deserve it. So I didn't take much notice of what the Liverpool fans were saying. I'm sure it wasn't complimentary, but anybody wants to fill us in. But I did see what Klopp said, and I thought for him that was quite a statement. After he played 110 minutes, he must have been a bit tired.
Yeah,
and he still said it.
And 10 minutes extra time and extra 5 minutes. Yes, it's just a sore loser for me. I'm sorry, but he is. Big up to Daz, by the way. Hi to Daz. I hope you're okay, mate. And got on here, Eden and Truls again. Chris, what's going wrong with Leicester this season? Going to comment on that right now. I mean, Leicester, right, has not been back this season, really. They haven't backed Brendan. They're giving him one player, which is a central defender. And he had a horrendous start in the league. Chris, what went wrong from the start of the season?
Well, put your feet up and come back in an hour and I might have finished. Look, we've had a couple of good seasons. We've lived the dream. We had 2 seasons where we were fighting for the top top 4 Champions League. We failed at the last minute on both occasions, and we could have just strapped back and not done anything, but we held on to Tielemans probably a season too long because our model was to sell, whether it be Tielemans last season, Maddison this season, at a lot more money than we bought them in for. Tielemans is now going to go free because he's a bit of a plonker, but don't start me on that. And we went for the dream. Now, unfortunately, our owners got hit by COVID. They are in the tourism and hotel business and duty-free business. So in COVID, they got absolutely battered. People still want oil, people still want petrol, people still, America and what have you. But we struggled. We weren't able to make the investments because UEFA came to us and said, look, if you get into, Europe again this season, you are going to have to you'll probably be hit with a big FFP fine. And unlike Man City, we don't have really expensive lawyers. We haven't got the pockets that they've got to pay the lawyers to get out of it. So we couldn't buy anybody. We had a full squad on very high money, which again was down to the board. Average players on high money because of how well we'd done, and we couldn't bring anybody in because we haven't got the places to fill. Because we'd got the 25 squad full players, so we couldn't bring anybody in. Top, unfortunately, kept it to himself. He didn't explain why nobody was coming in until the Man United game, which was the home game on the day of the transfer deadline day, by which time 90% of the Leicester fans were really peed off because we, if we'd known that, we would have given, understood and given time. We then had a horrendous start, which followed on from the previous season. Yes, we finished 8th. Yes, we got to the semi-finals of the European Conference, but we struggled all season, and it just continued. We held on to top too long. Held on to top too long. So I held on to Brendan too long. He should have gone, either at the end of last season or before the World Cup or post-World Cup. It was going wrong, but Top had a loyalty to him because he wasn't able to support him financially, as he had hoped. So he had a bit of loyalty towards him, but Brendan's shine had gone off. Managers, they have a sell-by date, Steve Bruce, it's 2 weeks after he joins you. But, but these managers can only be so good, for so long. And yes, he's won us the FA Cup. But it was a combination. It was like the perfect storm of everything. And, Rodgers, he'd praise the player, then we'd never see him again. He was throwing players under the bus. Leicester City bus drivers couldn't get insurance because they were running over that many players because of Brendan. And then we did make some signings in the January transfer window that he wanted. So he was again given a little bit longer, and we just left it too late. By the time Dean Smith came in, not being awful, nothing could have saved us this season. Actually, and it was a perfect storm of everything coming together. We're not broke. The chairman has just paid £192 million worth of debt, put it into shares. So we're not broke by any stretch of the imagination, but just put all that, all those things together, and you end up with a shit season. And that's what we had. And we are, they always say, a club can be too good to go down. No, they can't. Because if they're where they are, the table doesn't lie. You can be you can't be too good to go down, but you can be too bad to stay up. And, we've got players that just, Maddison, I would not have Maddison and Tielemans in my team tomorrow night because they don't deserve to be there.
Fair enough.
It's quite interesting. Sorry, shall I? I was just going to ask about the World Cup because Chris mentioned it, and I said the other day that I thought the World Cup did us no favours in terms of momentum, and it seemed like Leicester were just getting a bit of momentum back, having had a really tough start, and then the World Cup I thought didn't do you any favours either.
But the thing is, it wasn't just you, it wasn't just us. There was 19 other teams or 18 other teams in there that all had the same problem. So you can't say that it affected us, but it affected every club. We know that the World Cup was a pain in the arse when it came. We know that. We had to kind of live with it. But we had a little bit of a mini run. But that mini run, and no disrespect to the teams, but there were teams that on paper we would expect to win. No disrespect, but Forest and Leeds. And at that time, we would have expected to beat teams. So we didn't do anything special. Unfortunately, had the World Cup not come along, I think we would have got Rodgers out earlier, and I think we might not be in the position we're in now. But it's had an inevitability about it. It's not like we suddenly dropped off the cliff in the last 10 games. It's been coming all season. So, when we go down, it'll just be a case of, well, that's the I's dotted and the T's crossed. We've just been waiting for it.
So, sorry, John, I know you were going to ask. I've got one more question I'm really keen to ask, which is, would you, whatever happens, would you want to keep Dean Smith? Would you want to replace? I know Rafa's mentioned if you do stay up.
No, not Rafa. No, anybody but Rafa. Yeah, I'll take Jesse Marsh over Rafa. I mean, look, no, I mean, he has had success with you, and you went down and he brought you back up. So you've obviously got a liking for him, and I understand that. But we look at we can only go off his last appointment, which was Everton, and he was a disaster, an absolute disaster. I wouldn't want Jesse Marsh. If we go down, we're not going to get Graham Potter. We're being linked with the Blackburn manager, possibly the Swansea manager, although he may be off to Southampton. Do I want to see? It's a difficult one. I wouldn't mind Dean Smith, because when you look at what Dean Smith has done in his career, Brentford are where they are now because of what Dean Smith put in place. Villa are where they are now because of what Dean Smith put in place. Yes, he took Norwich down, but Norwich were, had a hole in that club bigger than what was in the side of the Titanic. Nobody could have saved that club this year, and a bit like Leicester this year, nobody could have come in and saved us. He lost to Man City in his first game. Then we beat Wolves. Then we drew with Leeds, and we drew with somebody else, Everton. And maybe the Wolves game fooled us into a lot of false sense of security and thinking like, we can actually win games now. But the thing is, he's got that experience. He's got Villa promoted. He turned Grealish into £1 billion player. He's actually put the foundations in at Brentford for how successful they are now. A bit like Nigel Pearson did with Claudio when he won it for us. And the big plus is he's got Craig Shakespeare as his number 2. And Craig Shakespeare was obviously number 2 when we did The Great Escape. Under Nigel Pearson, he was number 2 when we won the Premier League under Claudio Ranieri. He was then a number 1 that kept us up. Unfortunately, it went a bit wrong and he left. John Terry, I don't know. Probably the players' wives are more looking forward to him stopping than the players, but I don't know. All I will say is it's got to be this has got to be a big one, because if we don't come, and I don't think we'll come straight back up, but what we can't afford to do is drop down to the tier 3 again.
No, absolutely. You know what it is, right? I mean, if you do get relegated, then I think you'll come straight back up. Depends whose match is going to be next season. But we're going to go through some comments as well. Please hit the likes as well. Big up to Benny. He had on this morning. Thank you very much for coming on today, mate. It's been fantastic with you. Come on, be sure for the Global Mag. If you haven't watched it today, please check it out. He is very, very knowledgeable as well. I mean, have you used Vardy too much? And do you think you should have got a younger manager? Young striker in January?
Look, we've got 3 decent strikers. We've got Daka, and we know he's a good striker. He put 4 past Moscow. In one game. He's not a slouch, but he's got to be used properly. And Brendan was putting round pegs in square holes. Vardy, since he was brought back in, when Dean Smith came back, and Craig Shakespeare, they put him back in, because they were using him properly, he scored a goal, he got us a penalty. Before that, he was lucky if he got 9 touches in a game. So it's about using him right. And it's exactly the same with Nacho as well. Vardy's, he's got another season left on his contract. I mean, to be honest with you, yeah, I hope he stays for that season. Then I think he'll retire, unless Newcastle put an offer in for him, of course. But no, we've not used him too much. If anything, we haven't used him enough, but we haven't used him enough correctly, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, fingers like Jamie Vardy in this time, like, he was really, really fantastic striker. He really was. But I think his age is catching. Is he 35 now? Is he 36?
35, 36, I think. Yeah, he's around that. He can run faster than I could when I was 15. Even now, yeah. It's about using him in the right way. When the age he is now, it's about thinking about, well, they can't do what he used to do, but he's good at this still. Let's use him in the right way. And we touched on this before we came on, didn't we? How many of your players that were under Steve Bruce and were rubbish are now pretty decent and good players under Eddie Howe? And it's all about using the players in the right way. And unfortunately, Brendan was... Look, I don't want to swear, so I'll just leave it at that. But I'm glad he's gone. I'm glad he's gone.
Yeah, that's fair enough. 51 people watching the show live. Thank you very much indeed. And I know there's 16 of them is on Chris's Leicester Tie Dye channel as well. So thank you very much indeed, Leicester fans. And please slap a like as well. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel's John Sinclair TV. I've got one from Craig. Big up to Craig, Bournemouth fan. Congratulations staying up. Even to you. This game is massive now. Hope you're keeping well. We've got one from the Club lad as well. Hopefully, we are focused on Monday. Leicester are fighting for their lives, and on midfield are walking wounded. Yes, we are. if you got Bruno in the team, we got half a chance as well. Do you think Leicester should have acted last season to replace Brendan Rodgers, bring in someone else? I mean, what it is, Louise, right? I mean, do you think Brendan Rodgers is a cracking manager? Do you think he should be given another chance? Do you think he should have gone to the end of the season?
I don't think he could have gone to the end of the season. Some of them wasn't right there. And it might be all of those circumstances Chris talked about. I've got respect for him, but it wasn't working where he was. So that had to change. That doesn't mean they'll write him off completely. Doesn't mean I want him in place of Eddie, though, either, by a long way.
I'll swap you. You know, you're free now. You can have him and we'll take Eddie.
No.
Yeah, no.
I live just outside Bournemouth, so I've seen what Eddie has done at Bournemouth, and I have total respect for him. And what he did when he left Bournemouth to go and learn more. I mean, you've probably got you won't like me saying this, but I think he is a future England manager, and I think you've got a brilliant manager there. And if anybody is watching via Leicester Till I Die, be sure to subscribe to John's channel. He is one of the nice Newcastle guys. Chris Scott Parker, get lost, Paddy. That's all I'll say. Get lost.
Scott Parker. What's felt phase? We've already got to talk about the tactics of that in this minute, and the player's going to play. We're going to go for some comments first. What's felt phase? A disastrous signing. He came from he's a Belgian lad, didn't he? And he came from Reims, didn't he?
Oh, possibly. Look, if we were to sign Messi now, he would not play well because we are in such a shit position and a shit team. So anybody coming in, when you look at our defence this season, before those guys came in, we were losing 6 to Spurs, 5 to Brighton, 4 to Arsenal. We were getting our arses whipped. So anybody coming into that sort of team is going to struggle to do well. A player comes into a team that's, in the top 6 or 7, a team that's confident, a team that's winning, they're going to do well. He had a bad game with the 2 own goals in one game. The thing that his strength was that he basically just hit the ball away and didn't care where it went as long as it wasn't in our penalty area. He just hoofed it. He then got those 2 own goals, which if you paid him £1 million, he couldn't do those 2 own goals again. One spun off his foot and the other one came off him via the post and went in. But no, he hasn't been a disastrous signing, and he will get better. But you've got, again, he was signed and brought in by a manager who, and don't get me wrong, when we got Brendan, I'm thinking, my God, what a coup this is, sort of thing. But he didn't win anything with Liverpool. He came close or anything decent. And when he was at Celtic, I mean, us three could manage Celtic and win something in that league. Half the time when he was winning stuff, Rangers weren't even in the top division. And then he doesn't play Soyuncu, who John Terry comes in and he goes, "Who the bloody hell is this guy? He's fantastic." Brings him back in. First 3 games, he gets man of the match. But Brendan Rodgers would not play him because he's thinking about leaving and his mind's not on it, so I'm not going to play him. And yet he picked Tielemans every week, who won't sign a new contract and leave us again for free. That when you're working under a bell end like that, and when it comes to bell ends, you've had one. You know what it's like. You know who I'm referring to there, Steve Bruce. But sometimes you just think, what the bloody hell is going on?
Yeah, so it's quite interesting. You talk about John Terry. I was going to ask you what you think, and when you say things like that, you think he made a difference. I'm not a fan, but I do think he's made a difference.
Yes, like I say, just by making that decision to bring, Kagler Soyuncu in, it has made it has made us tighter at the back. Fortunately, it was too little, too late. He has signed a pre-agreement with Atletico Madrid.
I heard that.
He came out. He's actually come out and said that he was offered a contract by Leicester, but he said, "Why should I stay at a club where I'm not even getting on the subs bench under Brendan Rodgers?" So that's something else that Brendan Rodgers, of course. He He was hung out to dry by Brendan Rodgers, and the problem is with Brendan Rodgers, his ego is more important to Brendan Rodgers than the club or the players.
Yeah,
that's no good.
Don't make sense.
Oh,
No good. Don't make sense, doesn't it? Don't make sense at all. Back on Tielemans, I can't see the point of playing him if he's going to be away at the end of the season. I just can't see the point because you all know, and it's all documented as well, he's going to be away. Do you know what I mean? You could pick a spot as well.
His contract's out. His contract, you know, he can. No, nobody's come in for him, surprisingly. So somebody has come in for him, but Tielemans. It's a bit one of those cut your nose off to spite your face, you know, choices. Because if he's fit, technically he should be your best player out there. He should be the best player that we have, but he's not been playing well. So whoever he is, if he's not playing well, you don't pick him, Brendan Rodgers.
Exactly.
You know what?
Exactly.
You know, the Tielemans that scored that goal in the FA Cup final would not score that goal now because he's played out of position, he's played defensively, or he was by the funny thing is the one game that we have won under Dean Smith, which was Wolves, there was no Maddison and no Tielemans in that team.
Yeah.
And we won it.
That's not good.
Interesting.
I mean,
which players would you like to let go and who would you have in? Oh, God, it depends. If we go down, it's. I mean, you know, we need to get rid of as many as we can. We really, really do. It's like time for a clear out. Do like a Burnley. And we're not going to do a Burnley as in coming straight back up, but have a clear out. We've got a load of players that are on too much money for their ability. Tielemans is not as good as he was, and he's going to go anyway. Maddison, all joking aside, if anybody wants him, come and get him because he's more interested in playing for the camera than he is in playing for the team. You know,
that won't work with Eddie. That won't work with Eddie.
No.
You know, he walks off after we've lost a game, smiling. After we drew with Everton, which we should have won, he's walked off smiling with Damari Gray and got his arm around him. Every time he was tackled, he was seen smiling because he knew the camera would be on him. And he wants teams to think, oh, yeah, look, I'm a happy chappy and I'm enjoying my football. Bollocks, mate. You know, we're suffering in the crowd. You suffer. And if there's anybody that's not fit to wear the shirt at the moment, I'm sorry, James Maddison and Youri Tielemans are two of them. So they can both go.
Exactly.
Next.
If you don't play for the shirt, off you go. Right, we're going to go through these comments then. We're going to talk about the game as well. Sharky says, Scott Parker, obviously not for you. Sharky, could you please subscribe to my channel, please? So that'd be fantastic. Thank you very much indeed. But I can still score. Just needs to play smarter. It's on our own hands. We win both for our games. We stay up. Can't sit, to be honest, but I've got to try and keep the fifth. Steve, hi to you, Steve. If you subscribe, any Leicester fans to my channel, please hit that subscribe button, mate. That'd be fantastic. Thank you very much indeed.
And vice versa, of course. Any Newcastle fans in that want to... Yeah, so come over and subscribe to Leicester. I'll need all the support I've got next season when I'm playing Reading away.
Yeah. Bless you. And also do subscribe to Leicester Till I Die. Also follow Louise E. Thompson on Twitter. If Leicester go down, it will be a massive blow to the Prem and to them as well. Not sure if Leicester have a choice who goes. A lot of players will jump ship, I think. Yeah, it's looking that way, John. I don't mind Newcastle. They don't have a plastic support as Papa Newcastle born. There you go, Louise.
Interesting. I saw one of the Geordies say the other day that if you weren't born in the Princess Mary, you don't have the right to call yourself a Geordie. And I had to argue strongly with that. I was born in the Princess Mary, and I started to go to St James's Park when I was 10. I used to go to the Benwell Hill training ground with my autograph book, but I cannot abide that attitude. What you need to be a Geordie is canny. And the Geordies will know what I mean by canny. It's about that heart, it's the spirit, the generosity. Other than that, we need to be inclusive, and I wasn't having that. Anybody can be, you know, there's Caleb in America who started following us when he was a soldier and his teammate was a fan, or actually a kid who we met in when he was in combat. So there are people around the world who are Geordies. You don't have to be born there, but you have to have the heart.
Well said.
Is my
well
view.
said. And you have to have the passion as well, and the heart, and the know-how too. just hope the occasion of Champions League qualification doesn't go to our head tomorrow. We need to stay focused. That's in Gareth. That's very true, Gareth. The Prem will keep going no matter who goes down. Yep, that's true. Do you think Barnes and Manchester are good enough to play in the Champions League, Chris?
They both played in the Europa League, so I see no reason why not. If you ask the question, are Leicester good enough to play in the Champions League? Obviously not. But put those players in a team that is in the Champions League and is surrounded by players that give a damn and players that want to play and win, yeah, they'll play better. And yeah, I think both of them would hold their own in the Champions League.
Yeah. I think James Maddison, right, with Eddie Howe's training, I think it'd be a good one, and then Harvey Barnes as well. What do you think, Louise? I mean, I'm sure Eddie would turn those two into fantastic players if they're good enough for the Champions League and for Newcastle United.
Not on my shopping list, if I'm honest.
No.
I think the time has passed for that.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think that's the thing as well. You look at the Barnes and the Maddison of 18 months ago, and you would have had them. And you look at the Barnes and the Maddison and the Tielemans now. Well, look, I say Tielemans, his contract runs out on the 1st of July. Nobody's come in for him. That kind of says it all. Somebody will obviously come in for them. That's fine, but they're not queuing at the door. They're not, beating the path to the door to sign those players.
Yeah, and I think Eddie could turn them around again. I have no doubt, but I don't think he's got the time.
No.
Absolutely. We're going to be busy, hopefully.
In the summer. Very, very true. Let's go to some form guide the last 5 games. Start with Newcastle. We won 3 out of the last 5 games, and we won the last game.
Let's not.
Again?
Let's not. No, let's not look at that. Move on.
No. Oh, bless you. I'm sorry, Chris, but I've got to mention yours as well. You really picked a 1 win the last 5 games, 2 draws, 2 defeats, and a win as well. And you got absolutely thumped off Liverpool the last game. And it looks like that Leicester as well. I mean, you got some players out as well. You got Dewsbury Horde out as well. And yeah, I think he's been playing well this season for me. I mean, Dean Smith is going. For me, I think Dean Smith is going to play a back 3. I think. I don't know what you make of it. I think he'll probably be a back 3 or back 5 to stop us from scoring goals. I could be wrong.
I think we need to go back 3 or basically. I mean, let's be honest with you. It's a back 3 or back 5. It's the same team, depending whether you're attacking or defending, isn't it? I think he needs to go for that. We need to get Sutar back in because he is a huge defender and he can get to those balls. But yeah, I think a 3 or 5 at the back definitely.
So I think Dean will seek to capitalise on our potential weakness in midfield, given our injuries. That's one of his preferred methods, and he can change. But I think that's where he will focus. That's where I would focus if I was him. On Monday, tomorrow. It's one
area that we're not, it depends which players turn up. Like I say, if Maddison decides to turn up and play for the club rather than the cameras, you might have a problem. If you put Sumari in there, he's quite he lets you know he's there. Should we just say it that way? He could work for us. It all depends. He hasn't picked the same team for 6 games, so I'm expecting changes, but still, it's one of those jobs, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's all about having the players fit. And unfortunately, we've got players out, Louise. I mean, look, Sean Longstaff, we all know he's out. Also, as well, that Jacob Murphy's going to be out as well. Joe Willock's season's done. He's out for the season, done a hamstring. The question is, can you see Alison Maximin come back into the team?
Yeah, I could. And we do have other, looking at Elliot Anderson, he could come back as well. He did well on Thursday. So I don't think we're in dire straits, but it's an area that's a bit of a concern.
Yeah.
And are we sure that we're not going to get Longstaff back? I hope for him on Thursday. I'm really hoping for him tomorrow.
I do as well. You know what Eddie's like, though. He keeps his card close to his chest. No one's going on in the team selection sort of thing. Normally, he could swing a surprise, but in this instant, I just don't think he will. But for me, tomorrow, I think Newcastle will probably play Pope and goal, Trippier, Sharp, Botman, and Burn at the back, Anson, Guimaraes, and Almiron, Wilson, Gordon, and ASM. There's no way. I can't see Miguel Almiron playing in central mid. I just can't see it because that would take his attacking threat away. And you know what? Whoever Eddie picks, he knows that we're going to go out there and win the game.
So one of the things he said since Thursday is that he's going to look at Callum's composure and calmness under pressure to really lead and inspire the rest. So does that mean he expects to go with Callum again? And what does that mean for Isak? Because I said on Thursday I wasn't particularly happy with Isak out far, on the wing. Just don't think it suits him. So interesting that he mentioned Callum. So do I take it that Callum's first on the team sheet? Don't know. Yeah.
For me personally, I think on form, you pick players that are on form. I think Callum surely now will have to start. I think ASM was going wide on the left. I think Isak maybe dropped to the bench as well because, look, at the end of the day, I thought he tried too hard. I thought he played way too far from the other players as well. And so he did some good things, but didn't come off for him. But I'm a fan of Isak. I mean, Chris, you look at the Newcastle team. I mean, which players are you impressed with this season?
Every single one of them. Look, from where you've been to where you are now, Eddie Howe's got that team purring. He's taken a team. It's like taking an orchestra that's out of tune, keeping the same, people, and then just getting them playing in tune. Callum Wilson up front is always a threat. I'm sure you're missing Chris Wood, but at least he won't score again against us. Which he had always had a habit of doing. Sorry to mention him. I've got to be honest with you. I am just literally. I'm going to be doing the watch along from my toilet, so I don't have to get up and when it all goes bad, because I am going to be pooing myself on Monday night, and I am worried. I mean, you've got. I'm more confident than if Brendan was here, because Brendan, to say that he's been this great manager, he's been outthought. We've lost to Southampton twice. Southampton are the worst team in the division. He's been outthought by Gary O'Neill at Bournemouth when he wasn't even a manager. But Dean Smith, shaky. I just think it was a bridge too far for them. It was literally mission impossible. But look, you hope and you live beyond hope, but it's the hope that kills you sometimes. But just reading then, everybody's saying to Dean Smith, drop Maddison, on his current form, he doesn't deserve to be there, and he doesn't. But yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the team that my colleague picked for this game, and that was a 5-3-2. So no Tielemans and no Maddison in it.
Wow, I tell you what, if Maddison stopped playing, that would help us a bit as well. Did Brendan Rodgers have a connection with the club while he was manager, or was he just there for a paycheck?
I think any manager's there for a paycheck at the end of the day, because it's not their club, is it? And, this is the thing, like, you look at Kieran Dewsbury-Hall and as a player and what he has for the club, because he's the Leicester lad and he's come through the ranks. And then you look at Tielemans. Tielemans doesn't owe us a penny. We brought him in. So it's just a job. It's just like us changing jobs at the end of the day. Brendan had a great relationship with Top. Who can forget those scenes post-FA Cup? So yeah, he had that relationship, which is probably why he stayed a bit longer than he should have done. But no, he literally had. It was before he came in. There was nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. You take care of any. Go on, Louise.
Sorry, I was just going to pick up on the comment somebody made. I'm sorry, I'm not sure who made it about Everton. If Everton stay up, is that fair? And also, I could ask the same question about Man City. Is it fair that a club like Leicester could get relegated because of financial difficulties when there are clubs doing well who maybe haven't. I think that's souring it slightly for me.
I think, there's rumours that ourselves, Leeds, Southampton will also, if we go down and Everton stay up. I think the FA haven't got the balls to make a decision now. They're waiting to see if Everton go down, and if they do, then it's not their problem because they're in the lower league. They can hand it over to the EFL. It's surprising that we're not in financial trouble, but we couldn't go mad because we were trying to stay within FFP. Like I said right at the start, it does hurt when you've got clubs like Everton. All right, they've been told that they're being investigated and what have you, but that means nothing these days, And Manchester City, they've got the lawyers that they've got such big pockets. They'll get a fine, which would be like, pocket money fine for us, And yes, it is wrong, but look, that's football. And what we've got to say is, as a Leicester fan, we have had the last amazing 10 years have been unreal. And there are probably 80 odd other clubs that would have swapped places with us these last 10 years. If we go down, it's because we deserve to go down. And we will go down having won that trophy there. I'll have gone down having spent, a Champions League quarter-final at my ground with my son, which I never thought I would do. We've won the Community Shield, the FA Cup after 4 attempts. We finally won it. It's been a brilliant, brilliant ride. If we go down, we go down. That is football. But if we go down and let's say somebody like Luton come up, good luck to Luton. I'd love to see them have another go at the Premier League. And I'd love to see clubs like that, like the Brentfords, the Fulhams, the Brightons, doing well. Because I sort of put them in the same bracket as us. So yeah, it's been a great ride, and we've got some great memories. I can die a happy man.
Awesome. And what goes around, it does come around. It does come around. We've been in that pain that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And now our good times hopefully are here. It could change. It will change again.
Yeah. I'm never been one that is all bantering aside that has ever said that it's wrong the money you've got or anything like that. I don't care about the politics, to be honest with you. And if those guys came in and bought Leicester, yeah, I'd be excited as anything. But it's all relative, Yes, you've got owners that are rich. We've got owners that are rich, just not as rich as yours. I'm sure Rochdale United will look at Leicester and go, bloody hell, they've got a fortune behind them. It's all relative. And look, we broke the glass ceiling when we won that. Unfortunately, we hadn't got the backing to really break that big six. You have, and I hope you go and do it. And I think that's why people criticise you, because you are breaking the party up. But good on you, go and do it.
Yeah.
And I know that we if we lose and it means that you've got into the Champions League, fantastic, well done, and you deserve it.
Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you. Let's go to some comments as well. There's quite a few. Evening, everyone, even to you, mate. I hope you're okay. And I should be especially not under the lights. I have to get you on very, very soon. We're talking about this as well. Brendan Celtic and Rangers are weakish, so basically it's a one-horse race. And let's have him Monday. Imagine if we signed Hamsey Chaudhry before the takeover, he would be playing Champions League like Murphy and Miggy.
How things have changed, eh?
Yeah, things have changed so much. Without Mad, we'd be down already. Behave. That's Ash. Difficult to get rid of poor players. He's
played well earlier in the season, but a football team isn't a one-man team. Take one player out, it doesn't mean that you're suddenly going to be relegated because of that one team. So,
yeah, very true. Very true. Daka scored 30-plus goals in the Championship. Bizarre that he's never been given a run in consecutive games. I like Daka, I really do. I think he's a good player.
I'm not sure what Foxy means there, because he's never been in the Championship.
No, what he's saying is, if you get relegated and you stay, then...
Oh, right, yeah.
Then you get champions. So, hopefully we won't go into Reading, as that would be some drop. I hope Leicester survive, mate. Get rid of the other two. not our Spence, by the way. What's it, Louise? Jack, we got the Jack predictions. So tomorrow we'll comment that in a bit, so we're not going to go away from that. Geordie's in your blood. That's an Alan. Doesn't matter where you're from. If you love Newcastle, you're Geordie by heart. Ignore these ones. Yeah, thank you, Brian. I totally agree. Madison is, Barnes isn't. That's about if they can cope from playing for Newcastle. Jules, please, black and white. And extending the fan base is factor. Most people watch Newcastle on TV or digital devices. That's very, very true. I think City are 2-0 up, by the way. I'm not born times. I'm learning Geordie. That's I like coffee.
So's John.
Oh no! I lived in Newcastle for years, man.
I always have to watch these shows back when I come on a Newcastle channel, so I can watch it with subtitles.
Big up to Davey, by the way. Haven't heard from him for a long time. I mean, look, he wants Ivy Bond to be in black and white. Let's see what somebody have to say about that as well. We had the same as you, Chris, for 14, so understand the pain. Yes, we do. Erling's just come on. I did make that prediction. I started the season, John with Harry Redknapp, that you finished third. I'm sure I mentioned to you in a video a year ago, should have had that bet. You know what? I can remember that now. You're absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And the question for Louise, do you think Dean Smith is the right man to get out of the Championship? And Arthur reckons to go straight to League One.
So I don't think that I've got any right to comment, to be honest. Ask me about Eddie and I'll give my views. I think Dean has got track record. I think he has got out of some tricky situations. I don't know. I'll leave that to Chris.
Chris, stick with Dean Smith.
We touched on this earlier, didn't we?
Yeah, I did. You just
to be honest with you, when you look at who we could, we could have had Jesse Marsh. So over him definitely. Look, there's worse ones, and if we do go with him, he's got the experience. He's done it before. He's got Villa out of that league. If we go for the Thomason from Blackburn or the guy from Swansea, they haven't got that experience. All I say is whoever we get, it really has got to be it's got to go a lot of thought go into it. We've got to make sure we make the right decision.
Exactly. They've got to get that decision right over his goal, Louise.
Interesting question from I Like Coffee there. Would we take our young Aussie to Leicester on loan for the Championship to get experience? We were saying on, I think it was Thursday, that he needs some experience, but would he go? Would Leicester be good for him? Not sure. I think they might be feeling a bit flat.
Yeah, I don't think that move for me personally. I know people say get him on loan. For me, I think personally he should have stayed in Newcastle. Learn for better players like the Brunos, the Joe Lintons, the Isaacs, the Wilson. Learn off from them, or even Miggy, even Anthony Gordon, and he would be a better player. For him to go to Hearts, to be honest with you, I mean, it hasn't told us anything at all whatsoever. I think it's a bad move for him, and I think he needs to stay with us and just learn from us as well. There's a place for him, but they've got to use him right. It's a shame Leicester like the team. Yeah, go on.
Sorry, I was just going to say I quite like the idea of him going to Middlesbrough when we talked about it last week.
Yeah, Middlesbrough, absolutely. No, they wouldn't have to go too far. It's a shame Leicester, like the team on paper, they're awesome, but for me, they are gone. I think we'll batter them tomorrow. Hope you're okay. I'm absolutely great, mate. I hope you are too. We need players who have the right attitude and attributes who wants to play for the black and white shirt who can push us forward. John, that's a fantastic shout, by the way. You're absolutely right. Isaac did what Hal told him to. Well, the thing is, so I like to see him as the back of the subs. For me, Callum's on form at the minute. I love Isaac, but hey ho, he's a striker, not a winger. So yeah, so we could go for the same squad tomorrow, Louise. Same formation tomorrow, 4-3-3, or would you?
Yeah.
Same player.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm all for consistency, and I think Eddie is as well. But obviously, the injuries are going to have an impact on that. For me, I think if we start well, if we get that first goal, then it could be an absolute carnival, a fiesta. There could be 10, Botman gets his goal and everybody else. But if it's nervy, and it could be nervy because there's so much resting on it. If it's nervy and we struggle and Leicester are playing well and giving us the fight, if they fight, they could fight. If they give us the fight, then that's what I'm worried about.
Don't be silly. Don't be silly.
Hey.
Right? What are you on about? No, you can fight away out of a paper bag. Don't be silly.
God bless. I've got one from Judy Boraz or Judy B. Hi to Judy. Please subscribe to my channel and that'd be fantastic. Leicester fan here. Welcome abroad. Abroad, I meant to say. I'm happy for you guys. I really am. But I hope you lose your form just for tomorrow night. That's from Judy. Judy, you know what?
Hi, Judy.
I'd love to give you something, but we won Champions League. We definitely won Champions League. We haven't had that for 20 years. Another time, if we were safe, if we've got Champions already, then there's a possibility, but tomorrow's too important a game. But at the end of the day, I hope results goes for you next Sunday. I hope win against West Ham. I hope results goes your way. Coventry's going up. Afternoon to go farther. I hope you're okay. How can you get a fine for 100 plus FFP charges for Man City? Well, I tell you what, that'll be for another time. Do you feel Leicester owners need to sell up and try to bring some over to consortium with a larger budget, Chris? Two questions there.
Whether they would take any extra investment on, but I mean, the guy literally, like I say, a few months ago, when the accounts were published, he took £192 million worth of debt and transferred it into personal shares. So I don't think he's going anywhere. And at the end of the day, he's a sort. I don't know. You guys may be too young to remember this, but when Leeds were fighting to try and get into the Champions League and under David O'Leary as the manager, they were buying players left, right, and centre, and then they all went absolutely tits up, and they nearly went out of business. And I would sooner have a financially stable club in the Championship than a club that's spend in the Premier League, but not getting anywhere and risking the foundations of the club. I worked in Bury for 5 years. They haven't got a football club as such now, and I'd hate to be in that position. And as much as I don't like Derby, and it's funny that they've gone down to the third tier, I would not want them to go out of business. We've gone out of business once. We nearly went out of business twice. I'd sooner have a stable club in whatever division we're in than one that's just risking, everything to try and be something that we can't sustain.
Yeah, good answer. One from Alan. Can you ask your guest, Chris, what was it in this team that changed the season before they won LG a league game? You had about 6 games at the end of the season that looked unwinnable and had to win to stay up. I
mean, we touched on it early, didn't we? It wasn't. It's not a quick answer that, but. We left it too late to replace Brendan. I say Boris Johnson then to replace
Boris Johnson.
he could have done a better job than Brendan Rodgers. I tell you, it was seeing Boris come up. Would I sooner have Boris Johnson running the team than Brendan Rodgers? Yes, please. But look, no. All joking aside, he stayed too long. Whoever came at that point, it's like, can Big Sam keep Leeds up? If Leeds stay up, it won't be because of Big Sam. He's coming too late to really do anything. The best time, in fairness, was when Everton brought in Sean Dyche. That's when the decisions should have been made. We've just been absolute. When you've got a team that's played absolutely shit and is demoralised, and you've got a manager that comes out and says you're the best player that he's ever seen, then never ever picks you again and sends you out on loan to the Championship, and blames you and throws you under the bus all the time, you can't change that around in 6 games.
Yeah. Good answer. Got one there for Judy B again. Leeds to the favourite today, and Boris saying to lose to stay up. Wow. And so look, Tielemans not fit.
Good.
Judy.
Good.
And they've said Newcastle win 5-0. Manager up so important said the other day, look at Burnley. That's true. No, if I was Leicester, I would be fuming with Coup on loan. Also, you need a loan where you'll play regularly, and Leicester isn't that place. And that is just a show pony. Wow.
100%.
So there you go. Right, so on to the game. And looking forward to it. It's going to be. I think it's going to be a great game tomorrow. But 1 point is enough, Louise. I'm sure we get it. Do you think you need to be patient? Do you think you should go for an early goal? Do you think you should go for it?
Go for it. Go for it. Absolutely. I think we need to smash it and it'll turn into a party. If we don't get that early goal, I worry that we'll get nervous. I'd love to see Botman get one. I'd love to see Dan Burn get another because he knows he can, and obviously he got one on Thursday. And, you know, I do worry that he's one of those who might not be a regular next season. So I'd love to see Dan Burn get one, but just everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to win that game tomorrow. And Chris, give us your team. Give us your team line. If you're the manager, who would you pick? Who would you choose? Who would you pick?
I'm going to go agree with Brad because we kind of picked it together, but I'm going to agree with what he's picked. Everson in goal. He's the best of the ones that are available. Ward's confidence is too low. 3 across the back in about phase. Bring Johnny Evans back in just for his experience and, you know, an old wise head. And then bring Harry Souttar back in as the 3, unless Soyuncu is fit again, and then bring him back in. But I don't think Soyuncu is fit. Christensen on the left wing, is aggressive. He shows some fight, which is more than most of the players do. Ricardo Pereira Christensen on the left. Ricardo Pereira on the right. Those are the 2 wing backs. Castagna's not the player he was, and he seems to like coming in and playing in the centre back role, and doesn't mark anybody coming down that wing. Across the midfield, and why he's not been picked before, I don't know. But I would have Mendy in as that holding midfielder. Dewsbury Hall to the left, because again it's his enthusiasm. Dennis Pratt possibly, if not Sumare, because he is a, like I say, he's your enforcer. Mendy's 4'0", but Sumare will let you know he's there. And then 2 up front for me, quite right, as we're agreeing with Brad here. Jamie Vardy, and he's supposed to be fit again, so Kelechi Iheanacho.
Yeah.
And that is our team.
I think you could. Fair enough. And is that going to be enough to beat us? Probably not. Sorry. Hi, Rolly. Long time no speak. I hope you're okay, man. It's great. We got Champions League. 1 point. But we did say we couldn't make Champions League with Sean Longstaff and Jacob Murphy. I did say that. I said that they weren't going to make it with those 2 playing regularly. But you know what? I've been proved wrong again, like I normally do. People are saying that Sean Longstaff is back. According to Dave, he said Sean Longstaff's back. That's the first I've heard.
He's got inside intel from the coaching staff there. I've just heard that would make my Sunday.
That is true. That'd be amazing. But I'll wait for confirmation tomorrow. Big up to James, by the way. I hope you can. It's already been on. That's from James. I think it's fine. Load of questions there. Anyone on Bruno and Jason fitness? Both of them out the stadium first aid. I think J7 will be back on Monday. I think he just took a knock for me. I think he'll be back tomorrow.
Both of them, yeah.
So we'll go through these as well. Loads is good. It's part of the time tomorrow. I need to see Newcastle win. Randy Arias manager then. I said the season before you won the league. So not LG League. Randy was treated so badly. He got treated badly, didn't he? He wanted a title and he'd been sacked.
No, I'm sorry. Ranieri didn't get treated badly at all. Ranieri came in and I wanted Ranieri. I was one of the few that said he was a good appointment. And I didn't think he'd go and win the damn thing for us, but I thought he'd get us maybe 5th, 6th. And that, for Leicester fans, that would be happy. Yes, he won us the league. Then he went and bought his own players in. And Brendan Rodgers, all the Liverpool fans said, Brendan Rodgers, he's got 3 seasons in him and then he loses it. And all the Italian journos said, Ranieri's got 1 season in him and then he loses it. He has that first good season. The players he bought, all I've got to say is I think there's possibly 1 that's still with us. All the others that have moved on or left. And we were 17th, I think it was, when we sacked him. So you're not telling me that if you were to win the league this season, and then at the end of towards sort of maybe February next season, you were 17th, that your board wouldn't think about sacking Eddie Howe? Of course they would. Not saying they would necessarily do it, but we could not afford to drop down. he had to go, and I love him to bits. And if he walked in now, I'd have his kids. But unfortunately he had to go. And managers, it makes me laugh. And somebody asked earlier, would we take O'Neill back? No, of course we wouldn't, because O'Neill that now is not the O'Neill that was when he took us to all the cup wins and to Wembley for 3 out of 4 seasons. It's like saying, this player, we should have kept this player, but they go or they're sold for a reason. It's either A, to make money, or B, because they're rubbish. And it's the same with managers. As good as Jose Mourinho is, and you look at him, what he's doing at Roma now is amazing, but he's had to go through quite a few moves. Managers are only so good for so long, and it's just like any other job. You need to refresh and bring in fresh ideas. And I'm sorry, if we'd have kept Ranieri, we would not have won the FA Cup, and we would not have won the Community Shield. But I can say, don't get me wrong, I can say I love the man to bits.
Yeah,
as you can see,
understood.
Understood.
So
we go for this. Go on, Lewis.
Sorry, I just say I like coffee. Are we going to the final home game? Don't know about you, John, but I am a Southern mag these days. I am a Geordie with the London mag, so I will be in the Dolphin, hopefully. That's where I expect to be. And it'll be lifting.
I will be going, unfortunately, because it's a different day and I cannot make, I won't get time off phone work. I'm saving me holidays. For me, Jay Jones, who don't want to sell in the summer, probably the fringe players I would, but we'll be talking about that on a different show. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. I think Boone and Big Joe will use duct tape if they have to play. Yeah, I think they'll want to play in the game. Thank you very much, Jules. Big thanks to everyone who joined us tonight. 52 people watching the show live. Thank you very much indeed, both channels. And John, Lou's passport's ready for next season. Mine's is.
Yes.
And
I love it.
To go to the game. Me too. Hopefully Newcastle fans don't invade the pitch like Man City did. Supposed for everyone. Yes, they went on the pitch when the final whistle went. And I'm sure the Premier League will just have a go at them, change its profile. And just chatting to Chris. Chris, as someone listening to the Midlands, I will be generally sorry if relegation is the outcome. We need to challenge the Manx and the London teams, but you will be back. That's from Jules.
That's nice to see, right, Jules. And look, like I say, it's been an amazing ride. Never thought I'd never thought that I would be hugging somebody that I've never seen with tears running down my cheek. While Nessun Dorma was sung by a world famous tenor, and then we'd be lifting up the Premier League trophy, winning the FA Cup, seeing my team lift the Community Shield at Wembley, quarter final of the Champions League, despite Arsene Wenger saying that we would embarrass English football, and then his team went on and lost 10-2 on aggregate. So we were the last English team in the Champions League that year. It has been an amazing... I never thought I'd get those moments with my son, who's a Leicester fan, and it has been amazing. And you know what? If nothing else, we have given hope to other teams. And they can look at us and say, well, if Leicester can do it, why can't we? And yes, you've got your Manchester Cities, and I don't think Newcastle actually necessarily are a team that wherever you do well that you bought it, because you bought very sensibly. You've not gone out, and been stupid. You've tried to stick within the rules. But I think, when you get outside of those bigger clubs, and Leicester's not a big club like Newcastle, look at your fan base, look at your stadium and what have you, and look at your history. But we've given hope to the likes of Forest, the Coventrys, the Derbys, the West Ham, those teams. We've given hope, and if nothing else, it's been great to have, what Brighton are doing now this season. They've had a great season, Fulham never expected them to do what they've done, and I think a lot of that is down to Leicester, not down to us, but I think we've just given those teams hope that Leicester did it. Why can't we?
Yeah, you influenced it. I think that's absolutely true. I think the world order, as far as Premier League, is changing, and I do think you've contributed to that, absolutely. And we're getting close to time, and somebody talked about hope we don't invade the pitch. I hope we do everything to act with the decorum and respect that you see from Eddie. If we can all channel our inner Eddie in terms of how we treat Leicester and how we treat the pitch and everything else, to be the class act that we are. That's what I really hope for tomorrow, as well as a massive celebration.
Yeah. So we'll be celebrating tomorrow, hopefully, you know what I mean? Sorry, Chris. We're going through this course to get the score predictions. Going to wrap up very soon. Relegation is horrible, but the Foxes will be able to get rid of the Deadwood and go again. Good luck next season. Winnie win. Good words there. Judy B. Well said, Chris. Good luck, Newcastle. Judy, thank you very much indeed. And really appreciate that. Thank you very much indeed. I haven't problems in the comment box as well. And Nigel Dog, talking about dogs. I have dark brown and white indie names. Yeah. Thanks, Gareth, for the show. Jordan, you take care, Gareth. Hope to see you tomorrow for the watch along. And thanks for a great show. Got to go. And that's it. Right, the prediction time. We'll start with you, Chris. Newcastle, Leicester, St James's Park, kickoff at 8 o'clock. Give us the score prediction bit. And also, while you're there.
I am more bothered about getting 3 points in my prediction league than Leicester getting 3 points in the Premier League, because it ain't going to happen in the Premier League. Excuse me. I don't think there's, you've got the crowd behind you. You are playing a team that's devoid of confidence, that hasn't kept a clean sheet since Christmas. How can you not win? I've got to go with my head with this one, really, but I've gone 3-1 to Newcastle.
I'll take that.
So who do you think's good? Sorry, I just had to ask who's going to score. Who do you think is going to score for Leicester?
If he's fit, Iheanacho. If not, Barnes, if he plays. Who knows? Vardy might even score just for old time's sake.
Thank you.
Iheanacho. Thank you very much. And Naeem, good to you, man. Hope you're okay. Please subscribe to my channel, mate. And thanks so much for coming in. Louise, give us your score prediction. And
so I've got two. One is that Leicester get that goal and beat us 1-0, or it goes the way we need it to go. Well, we don't even need it the way we want it to go, and it's 7-0. It's going to be one or the other for me.
7-0.
That hurts. That hurts, Louise. I mean, the one thing we've said all season is that goes in our favour is our goal difference. Man City only beat us 3-1. Liverpool was only 3-0. Oh, that would hurt. That would hurt.
I think they could be so ecstatic that it's a bit of a rampage. On the other hand, it could not work out because the nerves and the occasion get to us. I think we'll be all right overall, but I fear that happening tomorrow.
I just hope
a little bit.
Hope we go for an 8-1-1 formation then.
Yeah. Tell you what, if we get a draw, that gets us Champions League. But I fully expect to win tomorrow, guys. I'm going to say, I'm going to go 4. I changed my mind. I said 3-0 earlier on. I'm going to stick with 3-0 as well. So I'm going to go 3-0, but it could get nasty or ugly for Leicester City as well. Does Vardy stay in the Championship, Chris?
He's got one season left on his contract. He's well enough. He doesn't need to win. He'll get a job in the media when he retires. Why not stay? Is any club in the Premier League going to come in for him? Probably not now. So he's got one season left, and might as well just play it out at Leicester. He loves the club.
Yeah, absolutely. My comments is not working at all. It's frozen, so I'm not going to go through any more comments. I do apologise, but it's just frozen. So, and I'm just going to go for a few comments. Let's say bye to I like coffee. 5-0 from David. Truls said for draw, I'm happy. And Ben had this morning. Speaking to Leslie. So, guys, we're going to wrap up there for the preview show. 55 people watched the show live. Absolutely massive. Thank you very much indeed. And thank you for Leicester fans, Colin Shenby channel as well, on Chris's Leicester Till I Die channel as well. And Chris, before you give us your, could you tell our chatters where you can find you, please, and what you actually do?
We're actually having, depending where we, which division we're in next season, but we're having a big revamp of the whole channel. But you can find us on YouTube, LTID TV, and on all the socials. It's either LTID TV or Leicester Till I Die. It's one or the other. Prediction shows. I'm sure if we go down, there'll be a few comment shows as well. But yeah, but come along and give us a support. That would really be appreciated. Look, and whatever happens, look, good luck to Newcastle. If a point's good enough for you, let's share. Let's be kind. Share it with us. Share the love. But well done to Newcastle this season. Look, table doesn't lie. You are where you are. And I'm sure if you get into the Champions League with the investment this summer, you'll smash it. So good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. I really appreciate it. Respect for you, Chris. Respect for you. And
Leicester.
And Leicester as well. Absolutely. And hey, can you subscribe to the channel, please, mate? As a Leicester fan, thank you very much indeed for coming in. We go through a lot of these comments, so there's only a few more left, but I think it's frozen. And going for this one. Hi to Terry. I hope you're okay, mate. And I was going to say good luck, but unfortunately, not tomorrow, I'm afraid. And Friday overhead kick by score. You know, Friday's like a winner, lads and cool lad. Thanks to Chris. Good luck to the championship, and thanks to Chris coming on as well. Last one, Leslie. Right, and you can find the links in the description as well. Chris's channel and his Twitter account, and Louise's Twitter account as well. And I said, obviously, 3-0, however, and did a great show. So if you like the video, like what you see, please like and subscribe. Also, Super Chat is still open through the thanks option. And if you'd like to become a member, it's just 99p. And I'll be running a competition very, very soon. So keep your eyes peeled for that. So, guys, thank you very much indeed, chat. And I will do backstage very quickly. But until then, let's hope we do this till I get a point.
Away the lads. Away the lads.
Real lads.